What's up, y'all? My name is Rabith, and I am taking the real estate salesperson program online through Humber, and I've been summarizing each module, and this is the summarization of module 4, course 1, and I hope my previous videos will help you. And let's get to it. I'm gonna summarize lesson 1, module 4. In module 4, they talk about Ontario land descriptions. So I'm just going to read this thing. Please bear with me. All right. The mandatory measurement of land across the British Empire was based on the old chains and links system called Gunter's chains, or Gunter's measurements. Chains were 66 feet long, 100 links made a chain, and 80 chains equaled 1 mile. Each concession was 100 chains across, or 1.25 miles. The county boundary often followed a river or lake, but in most cases was a straight line through the bush. The counties were then divided into smaller parcels referred to as townships. Each township was in turn divided into strips of land known as concessions. Each concession was separated from the next one by each concession was separated from the next one by a road allowance. Each concession was further divided into lots. A parcel of land then could then be described as the entirety of the lot and concession. The single front and double front township configurations were later introduced. Single front township normally contained 200 acres, while double front townships were usually patterned into 100-acre half lots. The sectional township system of land division involved 1,000 acres sections. And then they talk about meets and bounds. Meets and bounds is an older system of written land description whereby a property is described using a compass directions and distances, ultimately enclosing the property being described. And then they talk about types of surveys. Surveyors in Ontario Surveyors in Ontario are subject to both the Surveys Act and Surveyors Act in the establishment and or re-establishment of property lines, boundaries, and other components of surveys. A survey, which is prepared by an Ontario land surveyor, depicts accurate mathematical measurement of land and improvements. Technically, land surveying is referred to as Cadastral Surveying. The Association of Ontario Land Surveyors has determined that the survey contains the 4 components of research, measurement, monumentation, plan, or report. A salesperson will most typically encounter 4 types of surveys, which are a surveyor's real property report. So that is basically a survey traditionally referred to as building location survey that consists of 2 parts, the plan of survey and the written report. It shows everything that might affect the title of the property, as well as enjoyments of the property by the owner. And then they talk about the reference plan. And then the next one is a plan of survey. A plan of survey, a survey that consists of a visual depiction of the property but does not contain a written report. So the difference between a real property report and a plan of survey basically means the real property report has the written report, but this one does not. And then they talk about a plan of subdivision. A detailed survey indicating lots, blocks of land, road allowances, etc. illustrates individual parcels that will be created once the plan has been approved by the appropriate municipal authorities and registered in the land registry office. And then they talk about the importance of accurate land description. The Association of Ontario Land Surveyors has been concerned for some time about the circulation and the use of photocopies or partial copies of survey reports that might have been altered in some way or that may not show all the information that forms part of the original survey. A copy of the plan that does not bear an impress seal may not be a valid copy of the original plan, An up-to-date survey is essentially a current snapshot of the parcel of land being described at that moment of time. Over time, changes can happen that won't be reflected in an older survey. A complete legal land description is a written identification and formal depiction of land in order that the property can be precisely located. The legal land description ensures that the property being purchased is, in fact, the same one being offered for sale. Further, this description is required for related activities such as arranging a mortgage. Primary documents containing a legal land description include the deed and survey. In the event an owner does not have a deed or survey, other documents such as municipal assessment or a tax bill can be used when verifying a legal land description. While selling, a salesperson would normally rely on the listing information being complete and accurate and write the offer using that information. Ultimately, both listing and selling salesperson are obligated to confirm the information before drafting legal documents in real estate transaction. Okay, so that was basically lesson 1, module 4. That was the whole summary, and then we're going to go over lesson 2. Lesson 2 talks about land registration. So let's go over the whole thing, lesson summary. So land registration systems. Land registration systems provide for the orderly registration of ownership of land in Ontario. 2 land registration systems currently exist in Ontario under the Registry Act and the Land Titles Act. In Ontario, all land is registered under either the Registry Act or Land Titles Act, but never under both. Interesting. I never knew that. Let's read that again. 2 land registration systems currently exist in Ontario under the Registry Act and Land Titles Act. In Ontario, all land is registered under either the Registry Act or the Land Titles Act, but never both. The Land Title Act operates on the premises that the land register is the sole information source for purchasers. Land titles is based on these 3 principles: mirror principle, curtain principle, insurance principle. Read on these. These are very important to know. Land registered under the Registry Act may be brought under land titles by the owner through a process called first application. The large-scale conversion of registry records in land titles is now being completed. The land titles conversion project involves the conversion of registry records into land titles coincident with the move to e-registration systems. The Land Titles Assurance Fund, established under Part 4 of the Land Titles Act, provide the persons deprived of ownership through selected errors or fraud are entitled to compensation, provided such compensation cannot be obtained from other sources. Okay. The Land Titles Conversion Project involves the conversion of registry documents to land titles coincident with a change to automated Polaris system. So do you guys know what the Polaris system is? Province of Ontario Land Registration and Information System, the mapping and property details based database of Ontario government, which is integral to the automation of land records in Ontario. Under traditional procedures, a property would enter land titles through an investigation and subsequent certification by way of first application under the Land Titles Act. The Land Titles Conversion Project provides streamlined procedure to accelerate the process and access to land registration records by way of TerraView, operated by TerraNet. So what is TerraView? TerraView is a software package providing an electronic gateway to automated property records in Ontario. Oh, okay. And it is operated by TerraNet, a company responsible for the automation of property records in Ontario. The land in the registry system was converted into the land title system using either the land titles absolute system or the land titles conversion qualified system. The Polaris Automated Land Registration System. Polaris is an acronym for Province of Ontario Land Registration and Information System. This automated land registration system operates based on title index, description of the property ownership, and property mapping, surveys and plans databases. Polaris registers property under a parcel basis in much the same fashion as a land titles system. Polaris permits the user to find property by individual parcels, which is referenced by a PIN, by individual name, by the street address within the title index. Further, the property mapping allows the geographic pinpointing of described property. TerraView is an electronic gateway software operated by TerraNet, which provides clients with online remote access to land information products and services, including the Polaris land registration system. TerraView facilitates searches by accessing three different databases within Polaris. TerraView facilitates searches by accessing three different databases within Polaris: Title Index database, Property Index database, and Image database. TerraNet is in partnership with Service Ontario has built a web portal called OnLand to deliver key statutory services relating to land and property ownership in Ontario to land registry professionals and to the public. The 5 documents that can be e-registered. The Land Registration Reform Act sets out 5 standard documents that can be e-registered. These 5 forms are the transfer/deed of land, Form 1, the charge/mortgage of land, Form 2, the discharge of charge/mortgage, Form 3, the document general, which is Form 4, the schedule, which is Form 5. E-registration refers to title documents being created, submitted, and maintained in electronic form. Individuals who are provided access to the TerraView and Polaris systems may register documents electronically from their offices using a kiosk app in the application land registry office, or request assistance by a staff member in the land registry office. So the transfer of land. Form 1 is standard form outlined by the land registration form. Okay. And then form is outlined by essentially the blank meaning prescribed. Okay, that's basically it. That was literally it, less than 2. But I do need to go over mirror principle, curtain principle, and insurance principle. Let me just find that mirror principle right here. Okay. So a mirror principle. The register of title is a mirror that accurately and completely reflects beyond all arguments that the current facts that are material to a person's title. Curtain principle is the register is the sole source of information for proposed buyer who need not and indeed must not concern themselves with trust and equalities that lie behind this curtain of information. Insurance principle. The mirror principle is deemed to give you absolute correct reflection of the title, but if through human error a flaw appears, anyone who suffers loss must be put in the same position so far as money can do that they would have been in had the reflection been a true one. For example, in a case that a party has been defrauded of title, they may not regain title of the property, but instead would be put in the same position by financial compensation. Okay, that makes sense. So that was pretty much module 4, lesson 1 and 2. I hope this helped, and I will be doing module 5 and 6 tomorrow. Hope they are kind of big, but I'm just going to break them down by lesson. So I hope this helped, and I will see you guys next. Thank you.